Hello everybody, greetings, welcome, good day, and all that stuff. Thanks for staying with me so far in my random thoughts that I'm loosely stringing together into something of a series. We'll see where it goes. Again, I don't have a great plan for this other than just to ramble about and hopefully share some knowledge onto some restaurant leaders out there. Before we get started, I had the blessing today of listening to a former vet talk about, I guess not a former vet, but listening to a veteran talk about his time in the Army, his service there, and just his mindset coming back into the civilian world. Super, super cool. So if you see a veteran turned civilian out there, please thank them for their service. They did super, super crazy stuff that we don't even know about or appreciate. So show them some appreciation. Anyway, moving on to video 4. This one I have creatively titled Managing a Thing. So it's an extension of my last video, and this video will focus on managing things. Remember that we lead people and we manage stuff. Stuff could include ketchup, chemicals, uniforms, mops, etc., etc. In the restaurant industry, managing stuff usually means food or paper, but can include tables, chairs, inflatables, stools, condiments, napkins, straws, forks, things like that. I used to work with a guy who would refer to stuff and things as two different things. So a thing was not a stuff, nor was a stuff a thing. I somewhat understood that a stuff you could eat, but a thing you could not. But they were also used somewhat interchangeably, so I don't know. Anyway, so glad I'm putting this video up. So put your leadership hat on. So when working with a team, you need to be intentional, and it's easy to tell when you're faking it. With all things, if it's worth doing the right way and taking the time to figure out how to do it right. Take ketchup, for example. It has an interesting journey. It goes from the tomato to the ketchup factory, and then it's shipped to the distribution center, and then put on a pallet, then a truck, then to your shelving in the back, and then it somehow gets into the tummies of your customers. As the restaurant manager, you steward the process from where it enters the premises until it gets into your customer's hand. I wouldn't recommend doing much more than that, but you do you. That means to the best of your ability, you're ensuring the care, quality, and integrity of the product. I've found it helpful to put yourself into the reality of the ketchup. Dress up like a red pillowcase if you want, but walk in the back door and look around. Assess what are the threats that are there. What equipment is used to transfer you? Are ketchup cases dropped? Why is that? Questions you should be asking yourself. Look at the shelf in the back that houses the ketchup. Is it near chemicals? Are there threats from pests? Does the roof leak over it? Is it near a food prep area where crud gets slung onto it frequently? Do cases end up on the floor often? Are ketchup cases dated and rotated appropriately? These are all threats to the integrity of the ketchup that we need to consider. Part of managing a product is making sure there's a solid process flow for it. A super common thing is the procedure people use to open cases. It's not uncommon for someone to use a long blade to slice open the box, and by extension 4 or 5 ketchup packets, which causes splatter, which causes stickiness to permeate onto 25 more ketchup packets, which at best requires someone to rinse and dry the ketchup, and at the worst, creates a sticky situation when dried up and thrown into a drive-through bag. I completely realize this whole journey about ketchup is ridiculous and silly, but ketchup touches hands of what percentage of customers? 60, 70% if you work in more of a burger joint? It needs to be a priority for management. Going back to our leadership template from the other video, we're identifying areas for improvement, and next we get to implement change through leadership. Either way, you find the problem, then train the solution. If ketchup packets are often sliced open, which I can almost guarantee that's happening in your restaurant, then maybe don't open the case with a knife. Maybe, coach your people to peel off the tape like a normal human being would do. I've seen too often that ketchup is dropped, causing explosions in the case. Well, maybe keep the ketchup cases at waist level on the shelf. I don't mean to be condescending, but the solutions to stupid problems are usually pretty simple. The tough part, though, is training it, especially through multiple day parts. Maybe that'll be a topic for another time. I don't know, working together with other day parts toward a goal. Super easy thing to do. Well, anything that you implement is going to require supervision and a process. Back in my restaurant days, when I oversaw all the repairs and maintenance of the building and equipment within it, I ran a checklist every last day of the month. That gave me a roadmap for the preventative maintenance and what to fix the following month. It was my process, and it worked. The only times it didn't work was when I did not follow the process. So congrats, you've lived a day in the life of ketchup. Keep your red pillowcase. That sounds exciting. It'll be a fun story point. But expand that knowledge to all of your dry stock, all the stuff that goes around ketchup, lids, cups, mustard, mayonnaise, sauces, other condiments, things of that nature. And once you do that and you start to verify and guarantee, if you will, the integrity of the product, watch what happens to your food and paper cost when you do that. And then as a leader, watch what happens to your value to the team. Does any of this even matter to your upline? I don't know. Ask them if they think it's important to steward ketchup and other fun stuff like that. Thanks for watching. We'll have another one soon.